And welcome back to another Paul's Aquariums non-unboxing video. So instead of unboxing this week, because we had a lot of fish come in and go throughout the week and all sorts of stuff has happened, we're going to do a tank tour. So this is over a few days, so we're going to show you lots and lots of fish in the shop. A few of them may already be sold as you see this. I know, shock horror, but you get to see some cool fish anyway. So I'm going to turn this camera thing around, which is technically just my phone, and show you some awesome fish in the shop. Let's go. We're going to start with mudskippers. Now, we've had mudskippers available for probably the last year or so, maybe 2 years now. I'm not too sure. They are awesome little things. Yes, that is a fish. It is a type of goby and they do live out of water. So this little mudskipper tank here has been changed throughout the years, but I do have a video on the setup of it and all that sort of stuff on my YouTube channel if you check the older videos. But we currently have two mudskippers available. So I'm pretty sure these are barred mudskippers, which will get a pretty decent size. So these guys and girls are probably about 5-6 centimeters maybe. Now, if I take the lid off, they're probably going to dart around everywhere. But if we can zoom in, there is another mudskipper way over there on their rock. So mudskippers are a brackish water fish. They spend about 90% of their time out of the water, as you can see with these two here, just cruising, doing their thing. They eat a lot of different types of food. We feed them a mixture of chopped up shellfish, as well as live worms, frozen brine shrimp, frozen mysis shrimp, all that sort of stuff as well. Cool little things. If you want something completely different, obviously you can have them in shallower water, but we've just got a little bit more water volume in their tank. They will need a tank of at least about 100-150 litres, and they can be super territorial. So this one here, oh, he hopped, does potentially harass that smaller one way at the back. We did have a few more, but obviously they're for sale. If you're looking at around about $69 for a mudskipper in Brisbane, Queensland. Mudskippers are the first thing. We're going to go randomly from tank to tank. There's quite a few different fish at the moment. Let's jump to a tank and then we'll just keep jumping. So be warned with this video that yes, my shop is an actual working shop and not just for videos. So there's going to be algae and all sorts of stuff on the tanks, and I probably haven't cleaned the glass like this first tank, but we have a whole heap of fish in here. So we still have some really nice albino hoplo catfish. As you can see, that cool white catfish there with the beady little red eyes. There's quite a few hoplos in here somewhere. We've also got really nice sparkling gouramis. So these are all tropical fish, range in temperature from 22 to about 28 degrees Celsius. And we usually keep these tanks pH wise hovering around 7. So most of these fish are anything fine from about 6.5 to about 7.2, 7.4, depending on the species. But apart from hoplo cats and awesome little sparkling gouramis, there's some cardinal tetras in here, those little red and blue stripy dudes. And that little blue one on the screen there is a, what's they called? They're a blushing blue tetra or bleeding blue tetra. So I think there's still a few of those available. They're an awesome little South American tetra. Kind of look like a black neon, but they've got a blue sheen to them. A really cool little fish. And I think if we look further in, I think that might be all that's in this tank. More albino hoplos. Actually, they're all starting to come out now and get their food. So if you're wondering what I feed all these fish, there's a little link down below, but they are a little tropical wafer and the fish go absolutely crazy for them. There's a few little tiny epistogrammas. There's a little female epistogramma there, which is a dwarf cichlid, and one longfin bristlenose left. As they get bigger, they're going to go absolutely huge. Obviously, they're a type of suckerfish, tropical algae eater. That longfin version obviously just has long fins. Ridiculous as they get bigger. So they're going to max out around about that sort of 15-20 centimeters. So the long fins, your regular bristlenose about 15-16 centimeters, but the long fins just make them look a lot bigger. How lovely are those catfish? They are super, super awesome. Now we do have a little tiny trap in this tank with a few little chain loaches. I think there's about 4 or 5 left. Dwarf chain loaches are a little Asian fish. Again, the same water quality. They're a little tropical fish. They're going to max out about 5 centimeters or so. But the awesome, awesome thing with these guys and girls is they will eat snails. Not going to eat other fish, so you can keep them with guppies, delicate tetras, etc., etc. We've just got them in this little tiny trap here because if they were in the main tank, good luck trying to find out how many we've got left. And we do sell a lot of those. Really awesome little fish. Let's jump to another tank. So obviously I'm not going to be able to go through every single tank in the shop, but we're going to show you a fair few different fish. There's a lot of fish in this tank as well. So some really, really nice white fin ornate tetras. And those are sort of the peachy colored tetras there. really lovely schooling fish. Again, these are South American. There's a whole lot of them there. Most of your tetras, or pretty much 99% of your tetras, you want a group of, so you want a good 5 or 6 of them, and they're going to sort of school together. Now, in this tank as well, we have some giant dinios, which is an Asian fish. Again, they're going to turn into a pretty big, monstrous fish. Going to grow around about that sort of 12 centimeters on average, and they've got a really nice striking sort of blue, well, green and blue, greeny blue pattern to them. No, wait, greeny blue color to them with an awesome sort of yellow pattern. They are forever darting back and forward in the tank, but as I said, they're going to get quite a decent size. Again, a schooling fish, so you want a group of like 5 or 6 of those. Now we've got some really cool little wiggly black loaches. And as I say, every time I film these, they technically should be called brown loaches because they're brown, they're not black. And there might be 1 or 2 golden loaches left as well, which ironically look brown. Yeah, that's that long skinny one. Oh, you can kind of see the gold sheen to them as they sort of go to the side a little bit. But they are a super peaceful loach. They look like an eel, they look like a snake, but they're just a little tiny peaceful, you could technically call them a catfish. But loaches are a type of species of fish. Well, loaches are a species of fish, I should say, not a type of species of fish, that sort of act like a catfish. Super peaceful, wiggly, and just generally awesome. On this little rock here, chilling away, we have some Cichlids catfish. They're a South American catfish, little algae and biofilm eater. Quite a few of those at the back. Again, a little delicate fish, so you have to make sure they get their share of food. Note how everything is going crazy over that wafer, but the little Cichlids catfish couldn't care less. So you just have to make sure that you baby them, you have some leaf litter in the tank, or you have something with algae on it that they can graze the biofilm off, which they're doing on these logs sort of thing. Well, there's none on that log, but there's a few there, just chilling away, doing their grazing thing. But an all-round awesome little tiny dwarf catfish if you want something super small, which is perfect for little nano tanks. Those loaches are going crazy. Awesome, awesome fish. Let's just move to the tank next door. And we have a whole heap of black rams. So rams are a South American cichlid. The black version is just a line-bred, man-made sort of color. So they've just had a few rams with a little bit of black on them, and they've just line-bred them over the years to get an almost solid black fish. A peaceful little South American cichlid. There is some black phantom tetras in here, which don't look very black compared to the black rams. I know, but they are a lovely looking fish. Again, a schooling tetra. We have a couple of Corydoras, so I think there's a few different cories in here. We have some orange Venezuelan cories, which are those little ones right at the bottom there, if you can kind of see them behind all the black rams. And the other ones are just your standard leopard cories. There's a few different species of Corydoras they call leopard cories, but this is just one of many. And I think there's a few little calico bristlenose. Yeah, I can sort of see some under the filter. Again, a different type of bristlenose pleco, but these are just your standard calicos. And I'm pretty sure, not that we'll be able to see it, but the tank we were just looking at, there might have been 1 or 2 long fin calicos as well. Pretty sure there's 1 or 2 left in there somewhere. You can just see one under the heater there. Very, very hard to sort of show their color on camera, especially when they hide like that. But if we turn that sort of filter upside down, get the idea. Really nice oranges to them and that. And again, a super, super cool fish if you want something for a tropical community tank that is really good at eating algae. But I think there's a fair few of them in there hiding under all the rocks. Yeah, pretty much every rock will have 1 or 2 lurking around. They're going to max out again at that sort of like 12, 15 centimeter sort of size. Obviously the long fin versions just have longer fins and look a lot bigger. But that's a few different fish in there. Oh, we have a lot of fish in this tank as well. So we have some little dwarf golden cichlids. Only a few left of them. The males ironically get more of a bluey green sheen to them. The girls are more golden color. There's a whole lot of rainbows in here. So the rainbows in here are Bosmani rainbows, and they're the really nice rainbows that get the sort of half purple, half sort of orange to them. Really pretty fish. They're going to max out a good 10, 15 centimeters, so a bigger schooling fish that do really well with Central American cichlids and bigger fish like angelfish and barbs, etc., etc. Now we do have a few checker barbs in here, and if we zoom in, we can kind of see them. They're the little checkery sort of patterned things, and a few 5-banded barbs, which kind of look like a tiger barb. They're the ones with the stripes in there, in that giant pile of fish, if you can kind of see that. There's a big mix of all sorts of stuff in there. And these little Corydoras in here are Stingray Corydoras. Probably easy to show you some that are a little bit over there. Again, all Corydoras do better in groups, so you want a group of at least sort of 3 or 6 or more. And they're a really awesome little sand sifting catfish. Going to max out around that sort of, depending on the species of Corys, but the Stingrays are going to max out about 8-9 centimeters. Some of them, like your little tiny, where are we? Back here with your orange Venezuelan Corys, are going to max out about that 5-6 centimeters. So there's a big variation of different sort of sizes with your Corydoras catfish. But they're all super, super peaceful, not algae eaters. They're more just rummaging around the sand for detritus and bits and pieces. So this tank kind of has very boring looking fish in it, but they're a cool little fish nevertheless. These are croaking gouramis. They're like a mini version of your big colourful gouramis that you usually see in aquarium shops and that. But they do make a weird croaking sound, yes, under the water. So every now and then you'll hear this weird croak and you'll think, is there a frog in the room? No, it is a croaking gourami. These are going to max out about 5-6 centimeters. Cool little stripes to them, a really nice turquoisey blue eye that you can just kind of make out on some of them. They're in slightly acidic water, so we keep these guys and girls between 6 and 7. Really cool little different fish. If you want something a little bit more unique for a small community tank, then yeah, croaking gouramis are kind of awesome. Yeah, just something different. And another big pile of fish. We have a whole lot of assorted stuff in here. South America and Asia, all over the place. Yes, we have some Apistogramma agassizi, which are those little cichlidy type things. We have some really, really nice tiger endlers, which is like a mini guppy. So the females are the brown, plain sort of coloured ones, and the males are those really nice sort of tigery, yellow, stripy, patterny ones. Stripy pattern, you know what I mean. There is some golden sucking catfish. These are notorious for sucking on the sides of big, slow fish. They're going to get pretty big too, so they're going to max out around that sort of 20 centimeters or so, give or take. So you don't want to keep them with slow moving fish like angelfish or goldfish or anything that is slow moving and just going to be awkward because they're going to sort of try and suck on the sides of them. And we've got some Hengler raspora, which is kind of like a Harlequin raspora, but a different pattern again. They're a little Asian raspora, which is like a tetra. Slightly acidic water for them. So the little live bearers are more alkaline, so we've got this big mix in here at about a neutral pH, so about 7, and yeah, you can keep a big variety of stuff together like that. Whole heap of awesome stuff. But yes, let's move on to the next tank, otherwise we're going to run out of time. Some slightly bigger tetras in this tank. So we have some Costae tetras, which are the ones with the black tail stripe. I suppose, yeah, well, not the black band at the tail with the red eye. Those are lampi tetras. So the Costaes and the lampi tetras are South American tetras. These are a little bit more rough and tumble, so you wouldn't keep these with guppies or anything with big delicate tails because they're a little bit nippy. They're not going to get overly huge, but they're going to get between 6 and 8 centimeters to give you an idea. These guys and girls are probably only about sort of 4 to 5 centimeters, but just a cool little tetra if you want something a little bit different. A little bit rough and tumble. They go really well with Central American cichlids. Nothing as big as Oscars, but you can keep them Geophagus or the smaller varieties, and yeah, just sort of stuff like that. Lots of barbs and all sorts of bits and pieces. And there is a few more bristlenose in here. There's a calico, and I'm pretty sure there's just a regular 1 or 2 bristlenose in there as well. And we've jumped to some temperate fish. So these are going to survive pretty cold, like about 10 degrees Celsius, all the way up to like about 30 degrees. They are like a gourami, so they breathe through the surface, but these are called paradise fish, and they are an absolutely striking looking fish. Now they can be a little bit nippy, so we wouldn't really recommend them with a lot of other fish. So beware if you mix them with things like tetras that aren't fast moving tetras. They tend to nip the eyes off them. If you mix them with things like goldfish, they tend to nip the eyes off them. So you can keep them with faster moving fish like zebra dinios, giant dinios, a lot of different types of tetras and that. So have a wide range of temperatures and a wide range of pH. So pH anything from like 6 all the way to like 7, 7.2. But look how lovely they are. And because they breathe through the surface and can survive in cold temperatures, you can have these in large unheated pots outside on patios. In southeast Queensland, you can have them with, you know, just nice sort of areas like that, heavily planted tanks with no circulation, and they're still going to breathe through the surface. Just an awesome looking fish. Yeah, something a little bit more unique, not just a standard sort of everyday run-of-the-mill fish that you usually see everywhere. And going with the cold water temperate theme, we have a whole lot of goldfish. So mostly red cap orandas, and they're the goldfish that get the big bumpy head as they get bigger. It looks like brains, but it's not really their brains. That's called the wren, which is just like a growth of tissue on top of them. I know, when they're this sort of size, which is about 5 centimeters, they look kind of normal. But yeah, as they get bigger, that red bit will turn into a big, brainy, creepy thing. So goldfish will live for a long time, anything from 40 to 70 years. They like the water cold, so below 20 degrees Celsius. And yeah, they will live for a long, long time. The other weird goldfish in here with no dorsal fin, which look just absolutely creepy, those are called ranchus. Still a goldfish, just line bred to not have that top fin. They look kind of like a deformed tadpole, I suppose you could say. Very cute though. They got a little tiny double tail. They wiggle their whole body to move because they don't have the dorsal fin. Just another type of goldfish. And these little tiny fish swimming around, they are golden white-cloud mountain minnows. Perfect for ponds if you want something to eat mosquitoes, but they will not touch tadpoles, frog eggs, or anything like that. So if you want mosquito control, which are going to survive pH anything from 6 to about 7.5, go for the white-cloud mountain minnows. These are just the axanthic or the gold version, and I think if we creep along here, down the bottom here, we have the normal version as well. So these are your standard white-cloud mountain minnows, a whole lot of little tiny fantail goldfish. And obviously fantail goldfish are called that because they have a double tail. Actually, I don't know why they don't just call them double-tailed goldfish, because it's a double tail, and you'd expect a fan would look... It would be a double fan, wouldn't it? I don't know. Again, with the naming of stuff, I did not name goldfish. Otherwise, it would be just a double tail, not a fantail, or a double fantail. Anyway, that is the standard type of white-cloud mountain minnow. Goldfish, it doesn't matter if you have one or a group, but the white clouds, you want a group of like 5 or more of those. Awesome little pond fish. Obviously the brown ones with little red tail, and they have the cool sort of gold stripe, are a little bit more user-friendly for ponds because birds are not going to see them in anything, but the normal gold ones are pretty hard to see for birds. Now, if we jump up the top here, we have some slightly bigger fantail goldfish. You can kind of make out their fans a little bit more. And these other little fish darting around in here with the stripes are zebradonios. Now they're going to survive warm and cold again, so they're a very, very wide range temperature and pH fish. Anything from 10 degrees Celsius up to nearly 30 degrees. They come from sort of India, Pakistan, places like that where there's a big variation in temperature throughout the year. A very awesome, awesome little stripy fish. And these are the long fin version as well. If you can kind of make them out, because they are really fast, lots of bubbles in this tank, but you get the idea. And next door, a whole heap more goldfish, so more fantails. And again, there's a big variation with the shapes of the tails, how much fan they have, which is technically just the tail, how much double tail they have, I should be saying, etc, etc. But goldfish, pretty awesome, gonna get huge. With goldfish, you want 1 per 50-60 litres as they get bigger. And these tanks here are a 60 centimetre tank, which is around about 60 litres. So when these goldfish get bigger, they're going to take over most of the tank. They get like about 20-30 centimetres for a fantail, which is a pretty huge fish. And you expect them to get that size within the first sort of 5 years of life if you look after them properly. Let's jump to another tank. So one of my favourite Corydoras species are peppered Corydoras, which are these lovely, lovely fish. Now, these are from South America, but coastal South America, where there's a huge variation in temperature again. So these are fine with smaller goldfish. Bigger goldfish, they're not going to work with, because these have got a little barb under each one of their eyes on each side of their head. And if something swallows them like a big goldfish, the little barb sticks out, and that's actually going to choke the fish to death. And it usually kills the poor little catfish as well. Now, they are a really pretty little fish. Hopefully I'm getting it on camera. I know it's a silly angle. I am filming with my phone, so bear with me, but they have really nice iridescent blues and purples to them. Again, a schooling fish, they're gonna max out about 5 to 8 centimeters on average. Let's say 5 to 6 centimeters. We have had some really, really big girls over the years, and they're gonna live for a good 20 years or so as well. So some of these little Corydoras catfish are long-lived. Temperature-wise, 10 degrees to 30 degrees again, and as long as you keep a group of them, anything pH-wise 6 to about 7.2 or so, they will be perfectly fine. Really pretty fish. If you want really nice subtle blues in that, don't have to heat them in southeast Queensland. Just a really nice looking Corydoras catfish. And there is our lovely lungfish, not really playing the game, kind of darting to the other side of the tank as I'm trying to film him. There is actually an adult Bosmani rainbowfish, so you can sort of see what those smaller rainbowfish at the start of the video will look like. A lovely, lovely fish. So picture a whole big tank full of those. Unfortunately, I've only got 1 or 2 in this tank at the moment. Now, we go around, we'll come back to the lungfish because he's decided to be camera shy and he's completely buggered off behind his log. But below the lungfish, we have a whole lot of Central American cichlids. Oh, what have we got in here? There's a couple of Cuban cichlids left. They're going to turn into big monsters, which are really, really awesome fish. Another little Cuban up the top. There is a tiny red devil. Don't ask me why there's a small red devil in there, but that's going to turn into a monster as well. Actually, I probably should get him out of there because he's got little nipped fins, because he shouldn't be in there. And we have a couple of super green Texas. Now, next door, there are a whole heap more super green Texas. There's some convict cichlids. And yeah, we still have 1 or 2 of these absolutely awesome albino convicts with a bright reddy orange belly. Well, it's orange, it's not red, is it? If you can kind of see them darting around crazy in there. They're ironically bred by me, and I didn't notice how awesome their bellies were until I brought them in the shop. But they're going to max out about sort of 10-15 centimeters, where the super green Texas, which are the ones with the cool little spots, they're going to max out around about 1 foot long, so about 30-40 centimeters for a big super green Texas. We have a red terror in a log, which does not want to come out, so you can't see him, unfortunately. We have more red devils in here. So red devils are going to turn into a fish that's about 40 to 60 centimeters long. Yes, we've seen some huge red devils over the years. Called a red devil because they go red and they are nasty. Yes, they like to be super territorial and try and attack everything in their tank. So lots of red devils if you want something fun, and in the back eating their pellet, which are chasing all around the tank. Which you can't even see at the moment. There are still a heap of super green Texas. Next door, we have more fish that I have bred myself. So if you watch any of my fish room videos, you'll see a lot of fish at home. Yes, they do make their way into the shop, like these guys and girls. So these are albino and regular corbensis. They are not a Central American, those are all Central American cichlids. These are an African cichlid, but they have a low pH. So Africa is a huge place, so mostly with African cichlids, we have Rift Lake cichlids that have a high pH. These will be sort of the opposite, about 6.5 to 7 is an ideal range for these. The albinos will look absolutely amazing when they color up. These are only little fish. As they mature, they are going to be absolutely beautiful looking fish. Albino just gets rid of the brown pigmentation, so you're going to get all the reds and the oranges and all the colors go through them as they mature. Bit boring now, but yeah, if you've ever seen an adult albino, they are absolutely amazing. And in this tank as well, we have a fair few little gouramis. So these are pearl gouramis or lace gouramis. They're an Asian fish. Anything from 6 to 7 pH wise, they're going to be perfectly fine. There is a tiny gold gourami. I know, these are all bred by me as well, but pretty cheap. I think they're like 3 for 21 if you want some little gouramis. And they're around about that 4 centimeters, 5 centimeter sort of size, give or take. In here, we have a few wood catfish, which will not come out if I stick a pellet in. Hopefully, they will sniff that in the water. They're not sniffing it in the water. Don't you love it when you just want to film fish and they don't want to do anything? But anyway, driftwood catfish are an awesome, awesome fish. I'm going to stick my hand gently in there and upset the catfish. Come on. These are a South American catfish, but really, really pretty. You're going to go straight into the log, aren't you? I know you're going to go straight into the log. Oh, you didn't. There we go. That is a driftwood catfish, called driftwood catfish because they spend a lot of time around driftwood. Well, there goes the other one. So there's only a couple of those left. They're going to max out around about that sort of 25 centimeters or so. Just a weird looking catfish. Now that little convict has found their pellets. And these guys are going, nah, not interested, leave me alone. Let's jump to some more fish. So in the lungfish tank, we do have some silver sharks as well. These are not for sale, but it just shows you how big they can get, and they can get a lot bigger than this as well. Silver sharks or bala sharks will get a huge, huge size. So around about 40, 50 centimeters. These are probably only about 25 centimeters or so, give or take. But there is Mr. Lungfish, and if we have a close-up look, there is his 1 gold scale behind that shark. Really, shark? Come on. 1 gold scale, yay! Maybe one day he'll just turn all gold. Who knows? I've had this lungfish for a good, probably 5 years now or so. Not overly big, maybe about 2 foot or so to give you an idea, but they will turn into about a 5-foot monster. But they can live for over 100 years. A very, very cool fish. You do need a permit. Well, you actually need a microchip and a certificate like that to keep them because they're protected fish, but a very, very cool fish. But now we've seen the silver sharks. If we come around here, we have a tank full of silver sharks. So a few different sizes available. They only turned up in the last couple of days, these bigger ones, but we have some bigger silver sharks, and then we have some little silver sharks up here. Again, called a silver shark because they're silver and they're the shape of a shark, but they're a peaceful schooling fish. They will get big enough to inhale neon tetras and little fish like that. But if you want something that looks like a shark, it's going to go fine with Central American cichlids, bigger sort of fish like tiger barbs, and you know, things like the, what's the name for it? Rainbowfish. See, I had to think then, like the rainbowfish in the other display tank you just saw. These are really, really awesome fish to have. If you just want something that looks cool, because why wouldn't you want fish that look cool? And talk about fish that look cool, we have a lot of neon tetras. Yes, we have lots of neons come and go all the time. So they are the little red and blue tetra from South America. Awesome little fish. Schooling, you want to keep your pH below 7 for these. And they're relatively cheap. So I think they're around about $10.50 each or 10 for $20. So you can have a nice group of those and it's not going to cost too much. We have the albino version, which is lurking around in here as well. And all the albino version does is get rid of the brown pigmentation. So you still have your iridescent blue on the top of them, on a white body with the nice sort of red taily bit. And I think there's a few long fin cherry barbs in there. They're going to go a lovely, lovely color as well. And there might be a few, where are we? Diamond black neon tetras as well. So a few lurking in there. Tank next door, we have a few swordtails. So black swordtails, these are from Mexico. So pH wise, you want them from 7 to 7.5. And I think there's a few Mickey Mouse ones in there as well. If we go down below to the tank below, as I stick a little wafer in there, hopefully this will wake them all up. We have a big mixture of platies, guppies, and a few mollies. These are all live bearing fish. Oh, they're going a little bit crazy. There's a little bit better an angle. Calm down, fish. They will not calm down, will they? But if you want something for your tank that's going to produce live babies and you get batches of little babies all the time, go for these because they're going to continuously give birth. You're going to get little babies surviving in your tank as long as you've got lots of plants in that. And they're really lovely colors. So obviously the guppies are the ones with the red tails. They're little sort of bluey, greeny sort of patterned ones. So there you go. They're probably easy to see them down the bottom. The greeny, bluey, patterned ones are platies. And I think there is a few mollies somewhere in here. Well, not many mollies left. A few silver ones up the top and that. So mollies come from Mexico again, and they're going to survive a high pH up to full salt water, but there's only a few left in there. Platies are super lovely fish. If you want something cheap, colourful, these all retail for around about $6 each sort of thing to give you an idea. And they're all going to max out about that 5-6 centimetres, so not overly huge if you want something nice and colourful. So we generally have lots of guppies as well, so there's quite a few different local bred guppies available. There's blue ones, there's red ones, there's orange ones, there's some really cool, I don't even know what you would sort of call those ones, sort of like an iridescent whitey sort of coloured guppy. There is a lot more gouramis as well, so some more pearl gouramis, they're not golden gouramis, they were bred by me as well. There are some lovely black skirt tetras, there's a few honey dwarf gourami in the back, which is those lovely little yellow things, a few albino Corydoras lurking around. We have some more Corydoras in here, so these are your panda Corydoras right at the back. If you saw my last unboxing video, put a lot of those in. We have some really nice scissortail raspora, which is like scissortail raspora, an Asian fish, I was going to say. It's like a tetra, same water quality, but they're an Asian sort of fish. So got a really cool sort of scissory tail to them, I suppose you could say as well. And we have some really nice red honey dwarf gouramis left. We had a whole lot of those last week. Still probably half a dozen or so of those in there. Super lovely. And actually while we're here in this guppy tank, look how nice that little blonde guppy is. I know, lurking around, just going, yep, I am still there. In this tank, we have some angelfish bred by me. If we can zoom in right at the back there, being all shy and going, nope, don't film me, don't film me. So a few really nice angelfish. There are some red-tailed sharks in here. So these are an Asian fish, but they still have a slightly acidic pH. And we have a whole lot of glow light tetras, which is sort of like an orange neon tetra. Again, a super peaceful schooling fish if you want something nice. The angelfish will eventually get quite big, so they will get big enough to almost eat sort of neon tetra size, glow light tetra size, but the glow light tetras can get a decent size as well. And there's a few head and tail light tetras in there as well. We have, I just saw a reticulated loach go down the back. Let me see if I can find some food and come back. Okay, we're back with some food. So the reticulated loaches are those little black and white sort of patterned ones. Again, a really, really good sort of snail eater, but they will get big enough to nip the tails off fish like guppies and stuff like that. So you can keep them with tetras, etc., etc. They're going to max out about that 15-20 centimeter sort of size. So yeah, don't keep them with anything too small long term. And the rest of the little fish in here are mostly yellow phantom tetras. There's a couple of glow light tetras in there by mistake. Don't know why you're in there and you're not next door in the tank you should be in. But the rest of them are awesome little peaceful yellow phantom tetras. Again, a South American fish those, where the loaches are an Asian fish, but again, the same sort of water quality, so keep them about that 6.5 to 7, and you can't go wrong with those. If we jump along here before they finish eating their breakfast or slash dinner, or don't even know what time it is, whatever time you're watching this is, whether it's dinner, breakfast or lunch, midnight snack perhaps, but we have some really, really nice rosy barbs, which are those fluorescent orange looking fish. And there's a few super green Texas lurking around in there as well. If we go next door, some really, really nice South American blue rams. Oh look, there's a giant loach. Where did he come from? That was a reticulated loach. Okay, he's gone now. There's apparently a really big reticulated loach in this tank. Okay, I thought we had some in another tank, but we got some in here as well. Now we have a lot of blue rams at the moment. Check them out. They are a beautiful South American cichlid, a little bit delicate, so you want to keep them with soft water, which is low mineral content if you want them happy long term, but they're going to live between sort of 2 and 5 years on average if you look after them. Look how pretty they are. So there's males and females, and they're not going to get much bigger than this, which is around about that 5-6 centimeter sort of size, but a super awesome South American cichlid, which will go real with tetras, guppies, all that sort of stuff, depending on your water quality. Lots of really, really nice blue rams. Now, down below here, there's some Buenos Aires tetras, which are a little bit nippy. They'll go really well with the lampi tetras and stuff like that. And we have some really nice Serpe tetras, which are those little red ones. So again, these are all nippy tetras, so you don't want to keep them with guppies or anything like that, but you can keep them with sort of Central American, South American cichlids and barbs, etc., and they'll be perfectly fine. I think there's only a few little gold Pristilla tetras left in this tank and a couple of little gold rams, which is an axanthic version of your normal blue ram that you just saw. In this tank we have a few female guppies, not many male guppies, but lots of female cobra guppies left in there. Tank next door, I think we have a few little kitty tetras lurking around, which is again a little South American tetra. We have some really nice blue and red, cobalt blue I should say, and flame red dwarf gouramis. These are an Asian fish. They're not going to get any bigger than about 5-6 centimeters. Can be a little bit delicate to look after, but they are fluorescent colored. Look how fluorescent those colors are. Super, super nice, almost like a metallic blue on those fish. These are all boys. The females are more of a browny color or a pale blue color. They're the same species of fish, just line bred to be different colors. Again, slightly acidic water with these, so these are all tropical fish. So if you have your pH between 6 and 7 and your temperature at roughly about 25-26 degrees, most of these fish are all going to go super well. And actually this tank with the guppies, we have a whole lot of bronze Corydoras as well, which are a temperate fish again. They don't like it as cold as the peppered Corydoras, but they're going to survive 15 degrees no problem up to about 26-28 degrees Celsius. And again, lots of nice red guppies. Let's jump again to another tank. So I have not cleaned my glass yet again, I know, and Fritz even gave me glass cleaner so I can do that, no excuse. Well, maybe I'm just too lazy to clean the glass, but we have a lot of convict cichlids. These are all adult convicts. Now this is one of 2 tanks of convict cichlids. Yes, there are breeding pairs in here. They're actually breeding in the tank. If we zoom in behind all these fish, there is a female in that pot. chasing all the others away, and really hard to see down the bottom, but she has fry down the bottom. So if you want an easy fish to breed, we have males and females available. I think an adult convict sells for about $18. So yeah, so under $40 gets you a pair of fish they're going to breed in the next month. Well, next week or so, I should say, because there's a lot of females filled with eggs, a lot of big males. Yeah, they will just continuously have babies, and they will protect them pretty well as well. So you can keep these in a tank with Oscars, and they're going to absolutely chase all the fish away from their babies. Very cool fish, yeah, look at them chasing everyone away at the back. I think in the last couple of days we had about 3 or 4 spawn in this tank, all had eggs, all had fry. It was a complete battle zone. Yeah, fun stuff. Anyway, convict cichlids, and talking about Oscars, we still have a couple of albino Nemo Oscars from the unboxing a couple of days ago. These are only, what, $29.95, and they're going to turn into absolutely amazing, awesome looking fish. There are some wolf cichlids or your dovey cichlids in this tank. Yes, they're going to turn into big, monstrous, mean, awesome fish. You're looking about $18 for a wolf cichlid, but they are so worth it. I know, I absolutely love them. I'm growing up a ton of those at home. This tank with algae as well. Now, we have some really cool leporinus. We have banded leporinus, which are the stripy ones, well, the vertical stripe ones, and the horizontal ones are your lipstick leporinus. I've actually kept lipstick leporinus out of this batch, and I've grown them up at the home. I kind of want all these leporinus, so if they don't sell in the next week or so, I'm going to take them all home, because that's the way I roll. They're all mine, I want them all. Super cool fish. They are evil fish as well. They're going to get big, around about 30-40 centimeters, and they're going to nip the crap out of everything. Now, I do have a big banded leporinus at home. It's probably about 30 centimeters. I can't even put it in the 9-foot tanks because it's nipping the fins of everything. Hence why I'm just going to set up a tank with just nasty leporinus and just have a whole lot growing up together. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, a super cool fish if you want just something evil. Now again, more algae in this tank, but some absolutely amazing fish. I'm surprised I still have some of these. These are one of my favorite tetras. These are the giant dusty hatchetfish. They're going to grow around about 15-20 centimeters. Super awesome fish. Really hard to get. We don't get them in very often, and we still haven't sold out. And actually on that little loggy thing, whatever that's called, brick thing, spiny peacock eel. There's quite a few spiny peacock eels still available. They're an Asian fish, the spiny peacock eels. Tiny, small little snout to them. Actually, there's another one right there, if we can kind of see it through all the haze and everything and reflections. But we have some spiny peacock eels. They're going to max out around about 15-20 centimeters. Again, a really cool fish if you want something a little bit different, and it's going to go in a nice normal community tank. Next door we have a few rough and tumble fish. I think we have some, what have we got? Green terrors, which are riviatas, so there's a male and female pair in there. We have a few Xingu peacock bass lurking around, and that might be about it. Oh, actually no, there is a reticulated loach, so that's getting to an adult size. Just to show you how those smaller ones and that rogue one in with the blue rams is going to look as they mature. They get a totally different pattern to them as they mature. I have a few different random big hybrid cichlids. That there is a Synspillum hybrid, an absolute monster, probably about a 30-40 centimeter fish. So if you want a couple of big, weird, ugly fish, we have a few big hybrids available at the moment as well. And we've got a fair few Malawi and a few Tanganyikan cichlids. There's a few Alunicara, which are peacocks in here. There's a few Cediatrophus and 1 or 2 Tetrastigma, which are just starting to colour up, darting around like crazy at the moment. Really pretty fish as they mature. We have a few bigger Malawi cichlids as well. So there's Champsiachromis spiralincus, which is just going to turn into a big monster. And we still have some really nice assorted peacocks, or a peacock's arse. If you did actually see my last unboxing video, I know the wholesaler had them down as peacock's arse, which is assorted peacocks. So Alunicara don't usually colour up at this size, which are about 5-6 centimeters. These are colour fed from the wholesaler. We don't colour feed our fish personally. These will die down in colour, but this is going to show you what the mature adults are going to look like. So there's a few different colour morphs. of the same sort of fish and a few different variations of the same type. So yeah, different types of peacocks or lunakara from Lake Malawi. We have some electric yellows, another Lake Malawi cichlid, a few other bits and pieces, Aquariums, which are the really, really nice, decent sized Malawi cichlid. They're the ones with little orange fins. They're going to totally change colour as they get bigger. And there's a few other different little lunakara. So the peacocks you just saw that are fully coloured up will go down to this sort of browny sort of colour until they mature into adults again. And I think next door we have some more Aquariums. These are azuras, which are going to be a lovely blue colour. And there is one little blue Lombardi there as well. And I think, apart from a few shell dwellers and other bits and pieces, there's a few assorted Malawi cichlids in here. The motley coloured ones are Livingstone, just a really, really nice looking fish. I have a few brackish water fish, so we've got some Archerfish. These will survive hard alkaline freshwater all the way to full salt water. These are really, really cool fish. So these are the fish that actually squirt water out of the water and get bugs and stuff on the surface. They can even jump a couple of feet out of the water. These are only small, so probably about 6 to 7 centimeters on average. Really, really nice fish. As long as you keep them nice and alkaline, they'll be fine. And if we're very slow, there we go. Look at that. That looks like something out of Alien. That little face sticking out of that log is a freshwater tiger moray eel. So I got one of these available at the moment. This one's only small, probably about 10, 12 centimeters, but they're going to max out about sort of 90 centimeters on average. They are a true moray eel and they will live in full fresh. Don't like the water acidic, so you want the pH anything from 7 to about 8.5. Like true eels, they're going to go back into salt water to breed, but they will live their whole life in fresh water. They have teeth like a real moray eel, and they even have the extra little set of jaws inside their mouth. We're not going to disturb that one because he's just sitting there being a moray. It's a moray and looking super, super awesome. So I am missing a few different fish in this video. I know, I'll try and get them in another video, but we do have a few native fish. We have Tandanus catfish, which turned into absolute monsters, about a 3-foot long catfish with a venomous dorsal spine. I know. There's quite a few native fish as well. We have some silver perch, if you can kind of see them in the next tank, darting back and forward. I've kind of missed out all the goldfish as well, but we do have a lot of gold comets, smaller gold comets, larger gold comets, a few other different sizes. And because these videos are filmed over a few different days as well, lots of bunch plants and stuff as well. We have some slightly larger wolf cichlids or dovies. I know there's still a few of those available. I think we had a good half a dozen, but there's maybe 2 or 3 left as well. There's another one lurking around down the bottom. Just turned into absolute awesome, awesome fish, as I said, with the other little ones in the tank. Lots of bunch plants. We also have a few little lotus plants at the moment. There are a whole lot of different types of plants in here. So I think we have a few different types of Anubias. We have some Vallisneria, the grassy stuff at the back. Potted crypt plants. There's Anubias on driftwood. All sorts of bits and pieces, banana lilies, yeah, etc, etc, etc. I'm going to show you a few shrimp and then we're going to jump again. So usually we have quite a few different Neocaridina shrimp and they come in a huge range of colours. These are a little shrimp from China, like the water nice and cold, so anything from like 10 degrees Celsius all the way up to about, say 25, 26 they're comfortable with. These are yellow Neocaridina shrimp, obviously because they're yellow. There's a few random sort of orangey ones in there. I think next door we have a tank full of just assorted colours. These are relatively cheap. They're only like $4 a shrimp. Unfortunately, most fish will try and eat them, so they do better with just nano fish, so super tiny little fish, and things that aren't really going to just inhale them in one gulp. But a very, very cool little shrimp if you want to keep something super, super cool and feisty for your tank. Look how cool some of those are. So as I say with a lot of the videos when I'm filming the betta fish, they are in systems, and I usually turn the systems off for the videos. But this is the dripping of the water going through these little tiny tanks into a sump, and there's filtration, a heater, and a pump that pumps the water back up. So all these fish have got probably about 50 litres of water. So we don't keep them in little tiny tanks, but there are a lot of crown bettas. There's some crown tails, they've got like that spiky tail to them. I know, it's very hard to film them with the reflections and everything like that. There's some veil tails, another sort of crown tail, a delta, which has just got a difference. Well, there's a delta there, if we can kind of see you through the reflection. It's pretty hard to show you. We have a lot of female double tails as well. If I can kind of find where they all are. There's a little red one. Oh, there's got to be more. There is a lot of them in there, hiding in their plants. So a lot of white ones with red double tails to them. We've got a few really nice Nemo koi males. Oh, look at that one. That is a lovely female, if you can kind of make that one out. So quite a few deltas as well, so a few kois. There is another crown tail, lots of half moons and double tails. That's obviously another double tail. But yeah, lots and lots of betta fish. There's another one. There seems to be a lot of white ones with really cool patterns to them. There's a nice delta. So betta fish are going to live up to 10 years if you look after them right. You want your pH between 6 and 7, and temperature-wise, they want it about 26 to 30 degrees Celsius. So yeah, they will live a long time. You can keep lots of girls together, but you want to keep the males by themselves. And if you want to breed them, introduce them, then separate them. So with the girls, ideally you want like a 50 or 60 litre tank if you're going to have sort of 3 or more of them. 2 girls generally don't work on their own. One's going to dominate the other one. So try and keep a group of girls together or just one. And with the boys, obviously you just want one in a tank. Otherwise they're just going to get harassed by the girls if they don't want to breed. And I think that is just about everything. There are countless fish we're missing. Still got some axolotls. So there is a really nice white blue-eyed axolotl. It's a lovely lady, and there's a few black axolotls left as well. One right at the back. If we can zoom in, can we focus? Why can we not focus? Come on. Sort of focusing. So axolotls, obviously a salamander, so they've evolved to live in this tadpole stage. We want to keep them cool, so we have chillers on our tanks in here, so we have them at about 19 degrees Celsius. Anything above 20 degrees, and they generally don't like life that much. And I think the last thing I will show you is the baby axolotls, because we have quite a few baby axolotls. I know I'm missing lots of stuff. We have sold out of stingrays at the moment, but we'll have more stingrays in the next couple of weeks or so. Baby axolotls, there we go. So these guys and girls are available. A lot of different colors. There's some wild colored ones, there's some albino ones, some gold ones, all sorts in there. I think this sort of size, they're around about $36 each, eating frozen bloodworms and little pellets. But again, they have the chiller and the filtration, and they're kept at about 19 degrees Celsius. I'm going to leave this video as this. If you did enjoy this video, click the thumbs up so I know. If you've got any questions or comments, comment down below in the comments and we will get back to you. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching my video. Feel free to click the thumbs up because that helps the whole algorithm and stuff like that. And we will see you in the next video. And thanks heaps to all my members. If you want to become a member, just click the membery thing on the bottom of the screen. Somewhere there's a little link thing. And if you become a member, you get extra videos and you get a discount online on paulsaquariums.com as well as in store. We will see you then.